Here's the encouraging thing about World War III. According to Star Trek canon, it has to happen for Star Trek to happen. So World War III.
Shut the fuck up.
World War III. No, I'm serious. So here's what has to happen, right? Global thermonuclear war leading to the abolition of the United States into small groups, where somewhere then in like Montana, some drunk guy is going to invent warp drive on their commune, and then they're going to fly warp drive, and then the Vulcans are going to notice them doing warp drive and then come down and then greet them, and that's first contact, and then the world starts getting fixed. But that doesn't happen until 2064. So if you can just hold out, if everyone can just hold out alive, in the global thermonuclear war, until then, we're all gonna make it, as they say.
Proximity alert. Vessel approaching. The vessel is hailing.
Space.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
Oh, and another thing that happens in Star Trek that's going to happen, 2024, the date of the Irish reunification, which was stated that terrorism was involved with.
And good.
Yeah, and you're right. It was stated as good explicitly by data. And I'm probably gonna cut that whole thing out. Hi, welcome back.
I love me some good terrorism.
Who doesn't?
But okay, that right there, that's the cold open. You saying that?
Terrorism?
And then right there at the end of your laugh, that's when I've noticed how my editing style is. That's when the theme music comes on right there.
Absolutely.
So we begin at the beginning of the famous episode 11001001. I didn't have to look at that. I remembered it. I remembered a string of 8 digits that only contain ones and zeros. What does that mean? What does that like indicate in basic?
I actually don't know.
110. Fuck! I just forgot it. 00100.
How the mighty have fallen.
How the mighty have fallen.
It literally means nothing.
Tight.
Oh no, it does mean something. It's the people's names. Okay, so because there was 4. So
it means binar.
It doesn't mean binar. It's not enough to mean binar, unfortunately. But apparently the people's names are 110001 and 10, like the 4 binar that are on the ship. And so it's their names, the names of the people that were on the ship, I guess. But apparently in hexadecimal, it means like it's a capital E with like a little accent on it. In C9 base, it means 64. No. C9 base 64, it means Y capital Q ===, and then in decimal, it's just 201. So yeah, so there we go, mystery solved. Okay, well, I already forgot. Like, we take like a week or 2 weeks off, and I already forget the format of the show. Hi, this is Left Trek. I'm Eric from Left Trek. Joining me, of course, as always, in alphabetical order is Camazot. Or wait, or is it? Are you? You're not even Camazot anymore.
It doesn't matter. It's totally fine. It's honestly it's not a formal name change. It's just a different. Everyone just called me Zots, so I just changed it to Zots because it's easier. Because fucking white folk get like when you start throwing like weird like consonants and vowels out of order, they just get all upset about it, and then it doesn't process well. So it's I was like, okay, I'll just do Zots.
I'm just impressed you didn't put an X in there somewhere.
Me?
Zots.
I mean, the Camazots is the is like
Mayan Mayan represent
Batman.
Just like but there you go, Mayan Batman. There you go.
Or you could also just be stealing valor from Xerxes and spell Zots just with 2 X's instead of 2 Z's.
Ooh.
Well, all this discussion about branding aside,
hey everyone, it's Zots. How you doing?
How you doing, folks? You doing good out there? Well, most of you probably are. Maybe there's like one of you that's doing really bad right now. I'm very sorry about that. And then also Brian. Or wait, no, we're going alphabetical order. So it's Brian should have been before. Oh,
I don't fucking know.
It's Trash Can 1312, also known as Brian.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brian, aka Trash Can 1312. Your friendly neighborhood collection of ghosts in a fucking trench coat. How you doing?
I should have thought of a cute thing. I didn't have a cute thing prepared. I'm gonna do it right now. Hi, I'm Eric. I'm rapidly de-aging and it hurts. It hurts so bad.
My penis whore.
God damn it.
What if this episode was actually about how much that the Admiral's penis hurt?
Oh yeah, it's a medical drama. It's just there's none of the subplot whatsoever. It's just him laying in bed, writhing around, rapidly de-aging, and he goes, "My penis hurt."
Yeah, you ever just de-age and your penis hurt?
Yeah, he was clutching like his lower section quite a lot. I could imagine that if my penis were real bad, that I would have a very similar reaction to this man.
Absolutely.
We're starting up. We're already getting ahead of ourselves because we're skipping to the more not the more interesting, the better. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about. Here's the first thing though. Like when people are talking about like good or vaguely redeemable episodes of season 1, neither of these are ever mentioned, especially the second one. The first one is mentioned because there's like some conceptual stuff that's pretty good, and the second one I have not heard we literally may be the first people to ever talk about this episode outside of the actual production of the episode.
That may be true.
There is a remote but significant possibility of that being the case. But we start off, of course, with Binar, otherwise known as 11001001, which means nothing. Because it literally just indicates literally just one thing. It's a bit. No, it's a byte, not a bit. The bytes are the individual ones, and a bit are
one byte.
One byte is 8 bits.
Oh, 8-bit?
No. What?
Like the music? Never mind. My attempt at humor is fucking awful.
No, what?
Yes, like a Super Nintendo. Yes,
like a Super Nintendo.
You fucking people are already confusing me, and this.
Also, Super Nintendo's 16-bit, so get with the
Is it?
program.
I
It's
thought
the original Nintendo was 8-bit.
8-bit. Oh, true.
Yeah,
I have
Damn.
fake fan.
Fake fan.
what the
Fake
fuck is a
nerd.
Nintendo?
Good question.
Did you
I
hear?
don't know.
Did you hear that they're doing another Pokemon game? Another Pokemon
Hell
game
yes!
that's like
Yeah.
is
Give me
right
my-
around the
gi-
corner.
Hell yeah! Give me my fucking. I need that. Give it to me. I get it. I get a little grass kitty. It's gonna be great.
Oh,
Gonna
yeah, I
be a
saw
new Sharksius.
Sharks.
Well, I don't know. I guess did like a different team make the second Pokemon one? Eric in the future, cut this out. I don't care about fucking Pokemon. did
Nobody cares about Pokemon in a Star Trek podcast.
All right, well, yeah, true.
I don't know what's going on with that. Arceus looked like okay for like a minute, and then it looked like
Arceus is so good.
absolute shit for the rest of the time. But I haven't played it. I heard it's all right. I don't know. It's good? You've played it? You like it?
Oh yeah, I sank like close to I put in my 100 hours. It's good.
Interesting. Okay. Well. Okay. Well, back to the important episode about the weirdo aliens and the sex perversions.
Penis hort.
So,
Penis whore.
not that one. The other sex perversions.
Oh,
The one where Riker makes his penis hoards.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
It's been
Oh God. Okay. All right. Yeah.
it's
No,
been
I
a
want to talk
day
about
since-
this episode. This episode sucked.
Oh yeah.
We
there's
start
there's
off-
a lot going on.
We start off with admittedly a very cool scene of like the Enterprise docking at the Starbase. There's a very like detailed model work, and there's like a really nice matte painting that's sitting in like a garage that's about to go on Storage Wars any second. So you better look out for that. Picard. So they're having like a little bit of shore leave. They're going to like a base orbiting like a planet, and the first bit of weirdness, you can tell whoever wrote this episode was a weirdo. Picard says that he's going to relax with his direct quote personal relaxation light. He goes like, I'm going to get a good book, turn on my personal relaxation light. Like what the fuck is a personal relaxation light?
It's a sex thing. It's a light that like gets you a light that fucks you back.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
a flashlight.
It's the Hitachi of the future. You wouldn't get it.
Oh yeah. No, it's my personal relaxation light. It's a fleshlight. That's what he meant. Okay.
It's a flashlight.
Can you imagine what advances in material science is going to be able to do for fleshlights in the far future?
Like Riker tries to find out in this episode.
That's true. Okay, so there's so much to discuss. So the Enterprise is going in to the Starbase, and first we have our weirdo aliens for the episode. The weirdo aliens, they're these little guys. They're just all these little ones. They're very tiny. They're all purple. They wear big brains, and they talk like beep 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 beep. You know, they talk like R2D2, like to one another. It turns out, oh my goodness, they're tied in with a computer. They're half machines. Their brains work completely in tandem with the mega computer.
Oh, so they're Borg.
Yeah, they're the Borg. Yeah.
So they're the Borg.
There are some very embarrassing fan theories about like the Binar's connection to the Borg, but I will tell you right now, in case you there's actually so confusing. No, they have absolutely nothing to do with the Borg whatsoever. In fact, I think the only time the Binar ever come up ever again is that like they get referenced in Lower Decks, like in one joke. I think
they come out like right after the first Borg invasion, and they're just like hashtag not all cyborgs or whatever.
All cyborgs, yeah. Yeah, after Wolf 359 happens. Wait, you don't know what that is? No, spoilers.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Cut this. Riker immediately does not trust the weirdo aliens because Riker is a racist, but it's okay. Riker's racism is always shown to be correct. But here another important thing. This episode is so important to the canon of Star Trek because
this
Yes.
episode not only does it highlight like Riker's like racism, but it also shows that he's just like kind of a dick. Like he's not really like a good guy. Like this is like a very Riker centric episode, and I feel like it's supposed to like make you like kind of like, ooh, we get to see like what an average day in the life of Riker is, and it's just him going around being ableist and fucking just racist.
I have that in my notes too.
Like fucking like with like Data, it's like everyone's like taking a break and like
yeah,
Data and Geordi are like bonding, and he's like, hey, what are you two doing? And he's just like, oh, like I'm painting. And he's just like, well, this looks like shit. And he's and then Data's like, well, I'm trying my best. And then Geordi's like, well, I'm helping him figure out like inspiration. And he's like, oh sure, a blind guy teaching a robot, ha ha ha. And then gives them both the swirly, and then goes on to like, you know, figure out some other shit.
It doesn't exactly happen like that, but it's close enough. Everything is true except the swirly.
Yeah, that's spiritually,
and that's only because they don't have actually, I was gonna say they don't have swirlies are done in toilets. We never see like a Star Trek toilet. Like they have sonic showers. I don't know what the fuck a sonic shower is supposed to be. I assume that there's some kind of like scientific thing for that, but
just vibrates the filth off of you.
I think there's like an artist interpretation of it in Enterprise, and it's pretty cool. So it's like you know how in Finland how they don't well this is the stereotype, but they don't have showers, they just have saunas and they just like sweat away the filth.
I mean, I don't think that's okay. Go on. Finish your point.
Okay. So a sonic shower is kind of like that, except instead of a sauna, there's just like a very like there's some like weird sound frequencies that kind of vibrate like very very like watery air onto you. It's a really weird concept. I don't really know how it works. I kind of
water type air. It's like
the Sibian company really makes some major advances into home technology in the future.
Absolutely.
It's so hard to explain, and it's talked about all the time, and the only times we ever really see it happening are when the sonic shower is malfunctioning and it makes such like a horrible noise that it cracks glass. Like it sounds kind of miserable to be honest. I don't know. If you sound off in the comments if you know how sonic showers work. I'm not going to look it up on Memory Alpha because it's probably stupid. But very important to the canon. Very important to the canon. This is the first appearance of Parisi squares. Zos, do you remember them mentioning Parisi squares?
No.
Okay, so they have. Do you remember when Tasha and Worf and like a bunch of other people, they're dressed up in like these...
Oh, that fucking yeah. That fucking like it looked like they were gonna go play squash or some shit.
Yeah, we have no clue. It is never talked about the specifics of what the fuck Parisi squares is. The only thing we know, it is incredibly dangerous. People die doing it like all the time, and it involves a mallet. That's it.
Yeah.
You can like you need to be like 18 to play it. Generally it's considered dangerous to let children play it. It involves a mallet and people die doing it all the time, and we have no idea what the fuck Parisi squares is. But I didn't know it got mentioned so soon. It's just the mysterious sport of this episode. For all the
I like how like when like they talk about it or whatever, and like Riker's just like a shitty like 90s dad, like a 90s like or something. I don't know, like because he's like cause basically like, you know, like you got like Tasha and the other crew members, like fucking like Worf and shit, and they're going off to like go play this like to go play space squash or whatever the fuck it is, and he's just like, well, make sure you get out there and you have fun, you have a good game, and then like Worf's like gets mad because like, you know, Riker insinuates that they're just going to get a participation trophy, and then like
Riker's saying like, yeah, it's the goal, it's to make friends, to have fun, and then Worf says the most important line. What, Worf, do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was if winning didn't matter, then why keep score? And it's just like,
Yeah.
Okay,
Classic.
Worf, we get it.
Which
you
is
know, you're gonna be the first one benched from a shoulder injury 2 seconds into the fucking game.
Well, we later find out in one of the worst episodes of Deep Space Nine that while playing sports as a child, Worf ended up killing another kid. so it especially it's especially some dark connotations coming back there. It's weird. It's Worf. That's literally the same thing that I said when like I was playing t-ball in like 3rd grade, where I was just like really, I did a solo triple play, but then I found out there were no outs. I was like, what? And I had my mom keep score to see which team actually won. So what I'm saying is that Worf has the emotional development that I had when I was like 8 years old. Riker does his future scholars may be curious about this endeavor, and then Geordi goes like, what? He's like, yeah, a blind man teaching an android to paint. Riker's ableist. Dr. Crusher is very excited because I don't know if either of you took a note of this. She's going to meet with Professor Epstein.
Oh, it was Epstein? I forgot to note that it was a Professor Epstein.
I think how they pronounce it, to be fair, is
Epstein.
Epstein. However, there is no spelling difference between Epstein and Epstein. That's the same name.
Listen, Professor Epstein didn't doctor himself, okay? This is
Professor Epstein did not transport himself into oblivion. I would love to have a Star Trek recreation of like a incredibly like bafflingly just impractical way of killing yourself as like a mystery. Okay, well, he set a phaser against this mirror, but the mirror was positioned in the sonic shower in such a way that it triggered a bullet to go off, which was then transported directly in front of his skull while he was locked in the brig. The end.
I feel like it would be like unnecessarily easy to like unalive yourself in space.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You would, you know, and just have there be like plausible deniability in the thereafter, you know.
Well, because hypothetically, if you just have a transporter nearby, you could just like transport like your head off your body or your brain out of your skull.
Transporter accident.
It's true.
Somebody just comes. I just listen. I'm sorry if anybody lost a loved one to unaliving by transporter, but just picturing the body flop after.
God.
That would have been in the Quentin Tarantino Star Trek that we never got.
I would have. Imagine if Star Trek had just so much blood. Welcome to Tarantino Trek.
Trekantino. The initial concept of that film got like leaked recently. I didn't read through all of it, but it was gonna take place on like the Chicago gangster planet from the original series.
Of course.
I don't even know where like the Star Trek thing took place, but I was hyped for it. I thought it was gonna be cool. You know, people talk about like how people that don't want like that don't like new Trek, or like, oh, they just don't want their Star Trek changing. I was hyped for Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek, and I knew for a fact that was not going to be Star Trek. It doesn't matter what your Star Trek is; it just has to be good. Anyway, now
I don't know if I agree with that, but that's for another time.
To be fair, and I will tell on myself right here and then edit it out later. I like Quentin Tarantino movies. I'm a fan. I like him. I'm sorry. Okay.
I've definitely watched and enjoyed some Quentin Tarantino movies, even if the man's a total monster. It's just
Yeah, we're cutting this. Don't worry.
We're cutting all this.
No
that has never been true in the history of fucking Left Track so far.
True. Everything's left in.
Usually, like
I cut things. I cut things all the time. Strange. Yeah, you're right. No, I don't cut shit. I will cut this though. I swear. And now I can see what's happening. No, it's getting cut. This is serious. It's getting cut. No one can know that my favorite movie of all time is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm just kidding. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
That'd be such a bad choice.
Yeah, that's like the worst one.
I would judge.
It's like the worst one.
Yeah.
I like Hateful Eight. That was a good one.
I didn't watch that.
Oh, you should check it out. It's pretty good. Riker goes to the holodeck after Crusher goes to meet with Professor Epstein. Riker goes on to the holodeck, and the Binars. I don't know if we said this, but the Binar are there because they're updating their ship. They're just making it like more efficient, and they're kind of nebulous. And Riker is like, Wesley, you better watch these fucking weirdos before they do anything weird to our ship.
We're just enhancing your ship. What does that mean? Hey, not gonna lie. If somebody told me that they were gonna upgrade my car and I'm just gonna make it better, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, if
I need more than that.
If some weird purple alien said that they were going to like paint my rig, then like, okay, well, all right, go for it. Just be careful. It's liquid cooled. I don't know what it necessarily this entails, but just don't spray anything anywhere. Oh, the liquid cooling on the Starship Enterprise, that would be sick. Or wait, no, is that
it's got a heat sink?
Yeah, it's just like huge heat sink. It's
just the inside of a computer.
Yeah, the computer like hardware or like it hasn't actually improved. They just have a gigantic version of just like an Intel CPU, which is fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
They just never show that room.
Yeah,
but Riker goes to the holodeck where the weirdo aliens they're pimping it out. It's he's like, oh, can I go use the holodeck? And they're like, yeah, we're making the holodeck super cool. Go check it out, Riker. And then Riker's like, okay, all right, let's do a program. Okay, I want to listen to jazz in Kansas City in 1958. Is that what he said?
Yeah, well, he said Kansas City and then he took it back. He was like, wait, no.
Yeah, and then he took it back and said New Orleans after he specified 1957.
Yeah,
for some reason. The Binar,
because he wanted to seem cooler.
Yeah, it's true.
To these aliens
who have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. They're just like, hurry up, get in there, you fucking pervert.
And please take me
to. You want to fuck.
I would like to go to the first desegregated jazz clubs in Kentucky, please.
In Kentucky.
Right. Right. Riker. Yeah. So the Binars follow him in, and Riker's like, computer, I need a band, and the computer summons 3 black guys to play the instruments for him.
No, there was a dude. There was a white dude on piano.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I wrote that note before I realized that the guy on the piano wasn't.
It was an integrated band.
Yes. And so the Binar are just watching him as Riker gets rid of the audience and summons a holographic sex slave, and then begins to very specifically fine tune his fetish. So first they give him like a blonde woman, and he's like, blondes and jazz, I don't never really mix. And the computer's like, okay, and then they give him like, all right, but I want this woman, but like sultrier, more sultry. You know, whatever. I'm not even sure what that meant. And then boom, the final lady appears. What's her name? She comes back later. Similarly
God,
embarrassing.
what was her
scene.
name? It was like
It starts with the
fucking...
M. I know that.
No, it was like something music. Like it wasn't.
Oh,
actually
Minuet.
music, but Minuet.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Which is music. Like a minuet is.
It was a musical term, yeah. Okay, I didn't even make that connection before. It's extremely embarrassing. Riker goes and it's like, oh yeah, now that's the computer program I'd like to stick my dick in, and he has the door open. The door is open, and Jazz is just like screaming out into the hallways, and the Binar are there. We know what they're doing later on, but right now this looks like they're side-eyeing him, like he's just doing something really creepy, which he is, but they're just glancing over at him. It doesn't make any sense that this is happening for like the reason that it's kind of ends up being a complicated plot. There's a lot of plates in the air. One of the band, he's playing the trombone or whatever the fuck he's playing, and then the guy.
Yeah, that was that was something that was like really weird to me though.
The bone.
Yeah, because like he's like, and I'll need a bone, and it's just like, and they just like like one.
Who says that?
Who says that? Not even that. Like, who? How do you think? So Riker was just a band nerd. Like that's it. Cause like nobody gets pussy off of playing the trombone. The fucking womp 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 noise. Like that's what's fucking. That's what's fucking making that's what's getting people into your bed is the fucking womp womp like that.
And the best part is that like because this episode is so important to the ongoing on the ongoing canon, Riker is a trombone player for the rest of the series. He likes jazz, and he plays the trombone. that's it for his personal hobbies. And anytime he's ever like doing anything or relaxing, it's pretty much always just him playing on his bone. He's like bad at it, but he's like not bad at it. And I don't know. Again, this is the most important episode of Star Trek.
Like I thought it was funny because like the holograms like talking shit to him. Like it's just like he's like, don't quit your day job. Like
yeah, the holograms start razzing him.
Yeah, because it was like it's God, that was also kind of like really funny because like the bass player was just like hey, I think that girl likes you.
Yeah, the only person in the audience, like, literally the only
one there. Like Riker's just like, oh, you think so? And it's just like, dude, you manifested her out of nothing. She's just particles of light made for your fucking pleasure. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, do you think so? Yeah, you fucking band nerd. Hell yeah. God,
she was created
Riker's
for
so
you to
fucking
fuck.
clumsy.
It's he's just playing out. We're just witnessing his very specific fetish, which is just for how much weirder it gets as we continue, because so they start dancing to the jazz music, and Riker says to the computer simulation that she dances really well, but they're like not like really dancing. They're just kind of doing the thing where they're I don't even know what it's called. they're just kind of swaying back and forth. They're not dancing, and Riker's like, wow, you're a sick jazz dancer. Like, okay. Riker's like talking to her, and he asks, how real are you? And I don't even remember what she says because I just started typing
as real as you need me to be, or some shit like that. So basically it's just like, Which, okay, like jumping ahead.
Riker
like I know
literally
this
asked
'cause
her if he could fuck her. Like
yeah, more or less, yeah. Which, I mean, you're on the fucking holodeck, which I think is like really funny too, because like because like them when Picard like joins them like shortly after that, like while they're dancing, and like he like walks in and he like sees, he like admires the bar for a second, but then he like sees that like Riker's like half mast, like just making out with this fucking synthetic light production woman. Like he's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, number one. And he's like, no, stay. And Riker's like, oh.
Yeah, Riker's trying to have a three-way with the captain.
But that's my theory is that the hologram was trying to. Well, the hologram wasn't actually programmed by the aliens to distract them. The hologram just wanted to get the devil threesome going. But he asked for more sultry. How sultry are you gonna get, Commander? And so okay, so he starts making, after asking if she's fuckable, like if she like has like sex parts, he starts making out with her, and that's when Picard shows up. Like, then Picard's like, "Oh, I better go check out the commander. Oh, he's in the holodeck. Lovely. I'll go check it out." And he walks in like while they're making out, and Picard starts talking to the hologram starts talking to Picard in French, and Picard responds in French. It's very nationalist. It's terrible. They go into detail about like the specific ways in which the Bynars are improving the holodeck, which, like, I mean, it makes sense, but then also like the holodeck can just do that like from then on. So even though it's stated that they go back afterwards.
Can I mention like how merciful the Bynars are? Like, just because the fact that like, so they have this, like, they made this AI, whatever, this like computer generated woman, right?
Mm-hmm. Made her fuckable.
Well, not only no, but like she's answering questions like in real time, and that's what's blowing like Picard and Riker's minds, right? It's like she's got body language, right? Like, which is, you know, because she's able to like flirt and be, she's like, a body language expert. Yep. Like she's got like all of these things that just like make her like uncannily human, right? At least in the eyes of like Riker and Picard. And they didn't program her, and the Bynar didn't program her with the concept of like self-awareness, like of being, you know, like, which I think like most people who like program AI like in sci-fi, like that's like the whole thing, right? Where it's just like, why would you program the robot to feel pain, like type shit, you know what I'm saying? Like that's that's kind of like, I was thinking of like, man, that was so nice of them. But then I found out that it's probably that Riker was probably just trying to fuck the fucking the hive mind of their planet. So I mean,
yeah, right. Riker was gonna have sex with Mother Brain.
I hadn't really thought about that, but yeah, it totally is just like, that's the collective consciousness of their fucking planet. that's why Minuet was gone. But is Minuet gone? Was that?
She is. Right? No, she's gone at the end of the episode. She doesn't come back. It's revealed 7 years later. This is like a season like 6 or 7 episode that, like, because they're trying to pull like an image of someone that this is no spoilers, by the way, because it doesn't matter at all. They're trying to pull an image of like someone that Riker genuinely loved, and it turns out that 7 years later, Riker is still deeply in love, the most in love with any person he's ever been to, with this hologram. With this specific hologram, like, they conjure an image of Minuet, thinking that she was a real person, because
That's amazing.
So the whole so this episode, it continues to be embarrassing throughout the remainder of the series. Once again, this is the most important episode to Star Trek canon that we've gotten so far, perhaps with the exception more than Data lore, much more than Data lore even. Oh my god.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I would say so. Okay, so we've got pre-C squares. We've got the establishment that Riker does jazz. The thing I just talked about. What was that? What was the thing I just talked about? What was the thing I was literally just talking about?
That minuet.
Yes, minuet being like a persistent thing in his life. That's it. But those are all very important. I mean, like not actually, obviously, like it's not actually the most important one to canon, but there's a lot of like little things that get established in this episode, especially with the holodeck.
Yeah, it's very background stuff. Like it's a lot of background gets established for sure. Yeah,
which is unlike the next episode, which has absolutely nothing to do with anything else ever, but is much better. But so here's my favorite part, because this is the best one. So Wesley, of course, because Wesley is the only person that ever notices a problem on the fucking ship. Wesley detects a problem with the antimatter containment. And if you know anything about antimatter or like anything about Star Trek science or just in general, when antimatter and regular matter collide, it makes a big explosion and that will blow up the ship. So Wesley tells Geordi, who is not yet the chief engineer, but like is already starting to fulfill his role as the chief engineer.
Well, I thought he called Data. He called Data and Geordi was with him because they were painting. Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, he called. I, as the resident fucking Wesley defender here, I think he followed protocol because I mean he is a goody.
Yeah,
he is a fucking square. So I mean he did call.
The one that does not follow protocol is Geordi when he tells Wesley not to inform the captain of the antimatter containment breach. He's literally we'll look into it, Wesley. Don't tell the captain about this. The ship is gonna explode. And then of course they literally go on to find that yes, literally the ship is going to explode. Holy fuck. And they issue a ship-wide evacuation. There was nobody on duty in engineering for some reason. I'm not even sure why. Do they ever explain that? There's just no one in engineering and they make a point of saying that there's no one in engineering?
They're out fucking, I don't know. They're at the fucking space hooters. I don't know. They're
all playing pre-C squares on the start of it. So there's no one in engineering for some reason, because I guess they just established that because it wouldn't make sense for there to be an issue like this if there were people on duty in engineering. I don't know, but so they issue a ship-wide evacuation. They realize the ship is actually going to blow up, and they issue a ship-wide evacuation. This is where we find out that there are 20 transporter rooms. Which I don't know if anyone else noticed that. That seemed interesting to me. There's 20 of them. Like, it seems like too many, right? Like, I don't know. The Enterprise is pretty fucking big.
I guess I mean, if you
it's a big ship.
It's a big ship. I think it makes sense if you think like, oh, well, like instead of escape pods, but like, isn't there like you can't just like teleport somebody like super vast distances. So like it doesn't make sense in that. Like it's like there's like a replacement to like lifeboats or whatever, like escape pods or whatever.
Yeah,
so it's traveling around the ship, even like just transporting yourself from like one part of the ship to another, possibly, or something like that. There's
which we only see happen like a couple times in any of the series as well.
Yeah,
which you think, like, if it's perfectly safe and it's not like a horrifying existential question of the fact that a transporter literally just destroys you and then remakes you somewhere else exactly as you were. So you die, and a stranger, a copy of you, wakes up in a form of your body, thinking that they're you for the remainder in time until they themselves are destroyed. It's really horrifying. The concept of a transporter as a child gave me an existential crisis that lasted for years, that kept me from sleeping, because in my mind, like, well, that's true, it wouldn't be you, but what really is you? When I go to sleep right now and I wake up, I'm essentially a different person. You're a different person at like basically every moment of your life, but if there's a substantial deviation at a point of who you were and then who you are, you're a different person. Every time you go to sleep, you die. And I swear to God, that was literally my thought process, and it gave me like a sleeping disorder from a very young age. It was horrifying. I eventually had to make peace with the fact that I die every night, and that was the only way I could solve that existential crisis. Anyway,
congratulations, listener! You now have a new fear. Do with that what you will.
Welcome to having terror.
Every time you go to sleep, a stranger wakes up in your body thinking they're you.
Yeah, there you go. Hell yeah. Are you? How can you prove otherwise, huh? How can you prove otherwise, dear listener? Huh? How do you even know we're real? We're just voices. We're all part of the simulation.
Yeah, that's the
Matrix,
real
Matrix.
innovation in Left Track. We've plugged in tens of thousands of hours of leftist streams and people talking about Star Trek into an AI, and they've recreated our voice. We're just the average vocal performances of every single leftist podcast that's ever existed.
Yeah, and Star Trek.
And Star Trek, yeah.
The distillation of the woke mob right here. What's up?
But unfortunately, while all this is going on, Riker and Picard, they're trapped uncomfortably in Riker's sex fantasy. It becomes very clear immediately that the Binaries initiated this emergency, and everyone got off the ship, and they stole the Enterprise. The Binaries did it. They stole the fucking Enterprise, but we don't know that yet. And for some reason, they wanted to keep Riker in the holodeck. I don't know why. Did they say why? Because like they trapped him there on purpose.
They trusted him to save them.
But but they didn't know that they'd need someone to save him. Like, I thought they were just gonna like just go and give the Enterprise back and be like, hey, sorry, we needed it.
There's a lot of questions at the end. I mean, they even were like, why didn't you just ask for help when it's like, because you could have said no, and it's like,
well,
we could have said yes.
That one made more sense to me. We'll get to that one though. But the thing I want to talk about now is that Minuet is trying to swing a devil's threesome, and Picard is like, Picard wants to leave, and he's like, two's company, and then the lady's like, no, you should stay, and then Riker's like, yes, Captain, stay, and wait.
Wink.
Picard says two's company. The line is three's company. He just said that wrong. He just said the wrong thing.
And they just kept it in.
That's the second time. I've only noticed two people
fuck
up. Yeah. Picard says two's company instead of three's company when he's saying that he's intruding on Riker's sex fantasy.
I thought it was two's a company and three's a crowd. Three's Company was just the name of the fucking TV show.
But isn't the implication there that like
no, it's meant to be like
okay, I'm the stupid one then. You're right.
It's meant to be like, you know, like a third wheel, like, you know what I mean, like that's it's no, Picard was literally using the euphemism correctly. I got a dip so that you two can do like terrible fucking fake CGI shit to each other. Like, that's fine. Number one, I get it. You want to go under number two? That's totally fine.
Well, don't bother continuing, because now that I've embarrassed myself in such a way, this is definitely getting cut.
Oh my god.
I thought Two's company was with Two's company like, well, yeah, company sucks. Of course that would be the saying. Two's company. Who wants company? But oh my goodness, they discover that like Minuet's trying to like forcefully keep them there. She like kind of grabs Picard's arm. They realize that something's going bad, but in reality she just wanted to swing a three-way. But oh my god, they find out that the Binars have taken over the ship. They go back and they question the hologram. Instead of like seeking out the Binars, they just go back into the holodeck to question the hologram. I don't know why they figured that, but whatever. I guess it's to establish that she knows things that they could go back to her again later.
Well,
wasteful storytelling.
I think that the initial thought between Riker and them was that like, hey, we have these dead aliens on the fucking floor who like cannot answer any of the questions. Like they're literally gasping for air, and they're like, okay, well, they programmed her at least to trick us into staying, so maybe they programmed her for more information.
But they don't know that at this point. They go back before they even know what's going on, because they walk out and the ship's on red alert, and then they're like, what the fuck's going on? And so they go back into the program then to ask Minuet what's happening. And that's before they even know what's happening. It's before they even know that the Binar stole the ship. Just a little weird scene. But so we cut back to the Starbase where the crew is just kind of helplessly going like, oh fuck, the ship got stolen. Data on a hunch determines that the Binar stole the ship, even though it should be extremely obvious because the Binars are the only people that didn't evacuate and the ship took off. Like, I mean, where the fuck do you think took it? Riker and Picard, they go to the weapons locker, and I thought this was going to be the first appearance of phaser rifles, but no, they just come out with hand phasers. They were like, oh, and then they go to engineering and say that they gotta blow up the ship. So they set a self-destruct, the first of many self-destruct sequences that we will see throughout all of the series. And this, even more to the importance of the canon. So this also establishes that the self-destruct rules for Starfleet vessels, where the captain and the first officer have to agree to blow up the ship, and then they have to agree to unblow up the ship.
Wait, that doesn't come from original series?
Oh,
do they not do any in the original series?
Maybe I actually don't know. I don't consider the original series like at all when I say things like this. So that could have very well been established in the original series. I'm just not aware of it. But this is where it first gets brought up in this, at the very least. That section's also getting cut now too.
Coward.
I'm probably not actually gonna cut them. Because I think it's funny. I think it's funny when past me is embarrassed. Like, I see past me as some you look at you.
Well, I mean, it's a whole
idiot.
New person, right? Doesn't they never existed?
Probably literally. I think I probably literally think that. Like, I look on myself in the future like, that's future me's problem. Fucking idiot. Good luck, asshole.
Don't envy that. Don't envy that person.
Don't envy that person who's gonna have to stay up for 72 hours doing fucking papers in college because you procrastinated on your project throughout the entire semester.
Classic.
And now grades are literally due. Like, the semester's already over and grades are literally due, and you have to get this put in, and you've lied to the professor that like your house caught on fire and that you've been sick or had to go to the hospital, or like both of your parents died twice, or whatever the fuck it was. College was fun. I have a bachelor's degree. Data, here's an interesting existential thing that Data ends up saying. He expresses regret, and like he experiences like a crisis, because he's like, if I was on the bridge, then this wouldn't have happened. And then Tasha's like, well, you can't always be on the bridge. You can't always be on duty. And Data's like, no, you're wrong. I don't require rest. I can literally be on duty all the time. And that's so interesting, because we're seeing right there, like that's a little interesting bit of writing, because we're seeing an android expressing regret at not utilizing the capabilities of his inhumanity to always work. It's like a superhero dilemma. I found it fascinating. I liked it.
I literally could.
I think I could. It's especially because you contrast that with because one of the reasons that he was on the bridge is that he was indulging in creativity. Like he was trying to literally express pure creativity, which I mean honestly, looking back on it now, like in current year, it's like, oh well, we literally have AIs that you can give a prompt to and it makes something, and they often look really cool and really well done. But that, putting that aside, it was an interesting philosophical question about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
They Riker and Picard, they formulate a battle strategy that involves them both transporting onto the bridge far enough away from each other that like one person, because they assume that the Binars are just waiting for them, like are gonna like fucking shoot on sight, and their plan is, okay, well, if we beam in separate sections, then maybe they won't kill one of us in time for us to shoot them. Like it's a real fucking bold strategy, and then they beam in, but they're way closer to each other than they should have been for that strategy to work. They're
Oops.
Yeah, they're kind of only like 10 feet from each other on the bridge, which is like probably like 40 feet wide. Like it's they had to just block it in a certain way, I guess. Whatever. But oh my goodness, the Binars, they're not waiting with guns. They're in a cuddle puddle. Now's not the time, Binars.
It's called dying.
They one of them says like, please help us, and then we find out, oh my god, now is not all what it seems. Riker and Picard, they disengage the self-destruct sequence, and they're in orbit of the homeworld, and they're like, oh my god, the homeworld computer, it's shut off. They did I don't even know what the fucking plan was. So the Binars wanted to use the Enterprise's computer to, like, I don't know, dump their cookies or something.
So what they were doing was uploading all the data from the planet onto the Enterprise, so that the Enterprise could protect it, because their computer on the planet was vulnerable to a supernova EM pulse.
Okay, but then the supernova happened earlier than they wanted.
Yeah.
So okay,
and somehow they still uploaded enough data. I don't know.
it's
again, like, I think this one is like Plot Hole City.
It's very the specifics are very confusing. We're not at all sure. They kind of just, this is some real like writer's room mentality. Just a million fucking ideas just flying between one another.
They're like, yeah, this makes sense, right?
Yeah. So I mean, going into I like to try to reason out like what's actually happening, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. The Binar needed the Enterprise computer, and then Picard and Riker need to figure out the mystery of going back and talking to the sex slave hologram to get something. And then here's another one of those. They need a password. And so they try to figure out what the password is, and then they ask Data, because I guess they're just in range. They open up their comm badge, like Data's like really close to them. That's another weird one. They don't like hail them on a view screen anyway. So they ask Data, like, okay, well, what would the password be? And Data's like, oh, it's going to be in a very simple like binary code, and they'd want you to find it for some reason, because they needed Riker to fulfill the plan, even though they didn't. It's the more I think of, I didn't think it was this clumsy when I was first like writing this down and watching the episode. But going back,
I told you it sucked.
Yeah, it was not good. Like, don't get me wrong, there's things about it I like, but it was not good.
Yeah, and then the password thing that gets dropped because it turns out that they needed to just use the computer at the same time, and then they're like, okay, wait, what was the password then? I don't know.
Be like the Binars, do things together, work together.
Yeah.
And I bet somebody was like, really fucking yacked out in the room, and just like when they were coming up with that, and they're like, "Yeah, togetherness, let's do it. That's the ticket. That'll make this fucking stinky pile of words make sense."
all of these writers' brains were just completely annihilated by LSD that they took when they were working in television in the 1960s.
Right.
It's okay, and then here's what we were talking about before. So the Binars are like, well, okay, we would have helped you. Why didn't you just ask for help? And they were just like, oh, it's too important. You could have said no. And I think that makes sense. Okay, so because like if you're a computer program and you're just like if you're like computer based and like, okay, well the entire survival of our species depends on like the whims of these like fleshy erratic humans that like are perfectly comfortable with letting people die for their fucking like prime directive thing. Like, what if we ask for help and then they decide like it's a violation of the prime directive and they don't help us? It's a much better option to pretend that we're upgrading their ship and then just yoink it, just fucking steal it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense to me. I
don't agree.
I do.
I thought it was because I think the whole thing was like, you can go ahead and ask. You can ask, and if it doesn't work out, then you can maybe think about stealing the ship, right? Like this is like, hey, if there's one thing I would expect from the Federation, it is for them to hear, oh, you need help? Oh, okay. We'll help you, because that has been the track record of the Federation, for good or ill. That's kind of how they operate, and the Binar clearly are at least like associated with the Federation. They should know that, right?
Yeah,
I think what it comes down to is it's just more lib brain shit where they can't just like acknowledge that reform is bad. Because it's like if it were like, because like from like my standpoint, it was just like, oh, like a better writing thing would have just been like, we were afraid of your bureaucracy or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Because like there's like a whole chain of command type shit. But like obviously, if you're a fucking lib, you can't poo poo on like marginal reform. So it's
yeah, and like exactly saying like we thought it would get bogged down and wouldn't get done in time. Like that would be a concern that would work, right?
Yeah.
In this one, where it was just like they wouldn't do it, is like, no, the Federation would do it, but yeah, like worries about bureaucracy getting in the way of getting things done would be like totally.
And of course, all of these things that we're saying are much better than the actual explanation, which is that because they're computers and they only think in binary, they can only think that something is yes or no. So in their eyes, it was like a 50-50, and it was too important to leave up to a 50-50. So in the fiction of the show, no, it absolutely makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Not even a little.
Picard, like, so everything gets resolved. Like, Picard is going to take them, is gonna take them back to the Starbase, and is like, I'm gonna use the con. It's been a while. Don't worry, I won't crash the ship, Riker. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Don't crash the ship. I used to be very good on con. Oopsies.
Oopsie. Is that what that button does? Seems the boy has reconfigured this one. We're gonna crash. Riker asks for permission to leave the bridge because he's like, oh god, the Binars are gone. What happened to my sex slave? And he finds out, no, she's gone, my sex slave in the holodeck. Oh my god.
I like how he stresses. He's like, I went through so many, like he implies that like he just like ran the gamut of like options to like try to find her again. Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, he's like talking about going back and like I tried every permutation. I tried everything I could think of, and I couldn't get her back. I could. Oh my god! I
just want her back.
The one that got away,
Yeah, and so from like the literally, it seems like literally less than like 30 minutes he spent with this hologram, and he's been in love with her for the rest of his life.
It's amazing. Yeah,
fucking loser.
fucking like, band nerd.
It's like fucking Vienna's right there.
Okay. Yes. So now we're adding incel band nerd to Riker. We've got Troy Fraudster, Eyeball Taker Geordi, and now we have this new one. What else we got? French nationalist Picard.
Yep. True.
It's the left right canon is really shaping up here.
France was truly the pinnacle of civilization.
So now
Fucking sounds like such a fucking monster. Oh god.
But that's the Bionar episode, the most important episode of Star Trek canon of all time.
Debatable.
Strongly debatable. Closing thoughts. What's the Bionar episode? How sick was it? Was it sick? Was it sick as fuck?
I don't know. I thought it was interesting because it just looked like Wesley was like staring at them like somebody on the ship is more irritating than I am.
Yeah. I wrote in my notes, Binar's looking at Wesley suspiciously despite Wesley staring at them. I very much appreciated that because Wesley was just like staring at them, and then they showed the Binars looking over their shoulder at Wesley, and then played some like suspicious music, and I was just like, I'm like, that motherfucker is mean mugging them. Like, come on.
I guess my thoughts are the Binar are cool, kind of cool, I guess. It's kind of I mean, like that's it. The Binar are kind of cool, I guess. I want because most of my questions are questions that like are unanswerable. Like, okay, well, could you not fuck in the holodeck up to this point? Like, could you fuck, but they like wouldn't like really be alive? They'd just be like a perfect facsimile. I mean, Riker,
it was like light real doll, and now it's like light, android.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because Riker asked how real she is, and I think the implication there is a sexual one. So I don't fucking know.
Can I put it to like like Data, like a side like a side episode or whatever, like a 5-minute skit, like Data goes into the holodeck to like perform jokes in like a 1980, like a late 1980s, early 1990s comedy club, like to like just work on his tight five, see if he's becoming more human. Like I feel
certainly that'll never happen.
I want to see that.
Definitely never gonna happen.
Well, I've got mixed news for you.
Wait, does that actually happen?
I don't want to say yes or no because the answer is yes, but I don't know when that literally happens. There's literally a scene of that. I don't know when it is.
Yeah.
I was just
amazing.
Bullshitting. Like I just thought it was like, I was just thinking like, because God damn it.
These are very talented writers, Zots. You have to keep in mind. These are very intelligent science fiction writers from the late 80s. I thought you were going. I thought where you were going was you. I don't know why I thought you were going to say that like Data goes commits a what's the guy's name that played Kramer in Seinfeld?
Michael Richards.
Yeah. Oh God, he just goes up there as a full-on meltdown about Klingons or some shit like that. Like,
wouldn't surprise me.
Oh my God.
I no, like I was just thinking, because it's like, remember like when we first meet when we first like our like first episode, right? We're introduced to the holodeck, and Data we're introduced to Data, and he's whistling, right? Like, 'cause he uses the holodeck to like experience human or like actual like Earth nature or whatever the fuck, I guess. And like he's like whistling and he's like doing, and like when Riker's like being like why are you out here, and he's just like, oh, because I want to, you know, I can't like, oh, so much about me is human, but I can't whistle type shit, right? And then like one of like the running jokes in the show or whatever is that like Data can't tell jokes, like he can't, you know, like that's like a thing. So like I just like imagine now that, you know, you could just go up to the holodeck after the binar's fucked with it and just be like, give a year, give a place, give a time, and then just like manifest a thing that like, you know, this is Data's next move is to go in there and like be like work on a tight 5 to like whatever. I didn't realize like the whole fucking thing was like actually done.
Yeah, that is. I'm hoping you forget about that, because that could be, I don't know, that could be like the next episode. I think Guinan it becomes involved, so I don't think that's it's for a few seasons, but yeah, that's literally a scene. It's it might be like the cold open to an episode. I don't even know.
Replicators. What's up with that?
What's up with replicators?
What's up with
replicated Ractogeno? What's up with that?
We don't know what Ractogenos are.
Oh, that's right. My bad.
That's established later.
That's later, Brian.
What's the deal with Hosperod? Stupid.
Gak? I hardly know her.
Jonathan Frakes is apparently actually able to play the trombone since he was a kid. So that's
the bone?
Yeah, the bone. Jonathan Frakes can play the bone. Also, apparently, okay, so you know how they have
Riker's like, I'm about to take you to Bone Town. And like it's like, oh really? Yeah, meet me in my quarters. And like he goes to the quarters and it's like,
Mason.
that is actually I am 100% sure that has actually happened. if I were to extrapolate the canon of that character, that's 100% happened. I mean, just going through okay, so the transporter voice of that we're telling people to evacuate and like informing people of the evacuation, because it's like a computer voice, it's not a person's voice, but that's Michael Dorn doing that as well. So that's interesting.
Who?
Sorry, Worf. That's the actor that played
Worf.
Yeah.
Decks 2 through 4 to cargo transporters. Decks 5 through 10. Proceed to transporters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Decks 6 through 16. Proceed to transporters 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, is your penis hurt?
Now we're moving on to the next episode titled
Penis Hort.
Exactly. It's Next Generation, Season 1, Episode. Let's see, which one is it? As listed on Netflix, Episode 15. My Penis Hort. Too short a season. The first here, I'm gonna say it. Ready? Right before we even start talking about it, I'm gonna say it. The first good episode of the Next Generation. Boom. I did it.
That's so wrong.
Mic drop.
I want you to. I need you to explain to me how you feel that way, but you know we'll get there. I'm sure
we will get. Okay, this is a much more straightforward story. We talked for way longer than I thought about the previous episode. We tend to find a lot to talk about with like stupid shit because there's a lot going on. There's so many balls in the air in that previous episode. It was really hard just like sorting everything out. But this is like exactly the opposite. This is a straightforward story. This is a short movie. So we the premise of the episode, we find out, oh my goodness, some terrorists have taken have taken some Federation hostages. Were they Federate? They were Federation hostages, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrorists.
They were like an ambassador team.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
So some terrorists have taken over the thing, and they requested a admiral who negotiated a certain treaty on that planet 45 years ago. There's this guy in a space wheelchair in really just some of the worst old age makeup I've ever seen in my life. It was
It's pretty rough. Yeah.
It was really bad. And it turns out that the guy is the mission leader. I guess he's an admiral, so he can declare himself a mission leader, even though he apparently has just been infirmed for years. He's 84, and I think Zaz had a very similar reaction that I did, where it was like 84, but that's not old enough to be as old as they're showing this guy. But no, he has like a horrible degenerative disease with no cure, and he has polio. They brought that back.
They brought back polio.
Yeah, I kept this phone call. Yeah, the guy's only 85. Blah 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 blah. His fuck, where was I? I don't worry, I'll sort this out in editing. I'll sound very smart. This is gonna be very coherently done. Everyone is like, oh my god, what's going on? There's this situation happening, and the first inclination that something's happening is that, oh, the guy was comfortable getting out of his chair and walking around, and his wife comments on it because they bring his wife on board, and it's like, oh, well, you're seeing a lot stronger today, and he is seeming a lot stronger today. We don't really know what's happening. Everything's a little mysterious. It's good tension building. They're clearly building up to something. There's this plot, and then there's subplots. What relationship do they have to each other?
He even makes a reference to just feeling invigorated for being back on the vessel, which is, somewhat plausible. It's like, oh yeah, okay, you are in action again. You're getting excited and powerful. Yeah, let's go get it. Yes, queen. That kind of shit, right?
Yeah,
and then.
Oh, sorry.
And then what? Go ahead.
No, so people tend to think that, like, I mean, this is certainly the case for some people where they've just completely lost all ability to use their legs, but a lot of people in wheelchairs still do have some ability to walk for like a limited amount of time. Like if they really needed to, or just for convenience, they could like get out of their wheelchair and like go sit on a chair or something. Like they're in the wheelchair for a reason, but they do have like a limited ability to do that. So I didn't think it was too remarkable, but his wife was like, oh my god, he's remarkable. So very clearly he's supposed to be just completely infirmed. Whatever disease he has, I don't really explain the mechanism behind it, which is fine. But it seems to have completely taken away his ability to walk, and they say that before. They say that later in the episode too, that he's able to, that he shouldn't be able to. So he looks old because he does have a horrible disease. The wife is thrilled. Once everything is starting to get settled, the guy just starts feeling like more and more better. He's more invigorated. In the later scene, now instead of just being able to like move onto a chair, instead of being invigorated by just the being in command of a starship again, now he can walk around. And then what does he try to do immediately? He goes and tries to get busy with his wife. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, he walks right up to her. He goes, "Hey, baby, my penis hurt."
No, well, he goes up to his wife and he grabs her on the ass, and that's when his penis hurt.
That's when his penis hurt.
His wife calls sickbay, like, "Oh, my husband's penis hurts. Please, someone get here immediately.
Please, somebody help." But it's actually because his penis is hurt too much. He fall down.
He fall down this time. Oh my god, so he has to go to the medical team and on sickbay, and then suddenly it's revealed, oh my goodness, he's getting younger again because he's been taking adrenochrome.
It's a weird herbal thing. They call it adrenochrome.
So he's taking. They don't actually say adrenochrome. It's
No.
it's some kind of
Herb. They say herbs.
Is it? Did he say that? Did they say that? I
Yeah,
thought it
he
was.
says herb.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of I guess herb-based treatment that's from some mysterious alien species where they have everyone reacts to it differently. You're most likely gonna die from it, but it could reverse your aging. And the guy,
It just sounds like it just sounds like fucking like space ayahuasca bullshit. Like they just he just
Yeah.
went in and just did like a bunch of fucking hallucinogenics.
you see
Yeah.
But obviously there's more to it than that. But
But
I mean
it
that's the way
worked.
but it worked, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
these aliens figured out a way where if you put a drop of medicine into a large body of water and you take out a different part of that body of water, the water retains the memory of the medicine that was in it, and then you can take that as if it was the medicine. That's homeopathy, people. That's what homeopathy actually is. It's literally just the idea that water retains the memory of medicine that's been in it. If you thought there was some kind of legitimacy to homeopathy, just a little bugbear just getting it out there. No, it's
Sorry to dash that for you, but
sorry, in case you like knew that it was bullshit but you didn't know why. That's why. It's literally nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he went to oh, sorry.
It's the memory in the water, but you know, practically that just means diluted, but then also the dilution is like obscenely high, so you just don't, there's nothing. It's nothing. It's water.
With water. It's literally just water.
It's just water.
There's no medicine left in it. It's water. If there was
People
medicine,
People talk about LaCroix. They're like LaCroix is like a hint of like garbage tangerine sat next to this water. They're talking about homeopathy, but LaCroix actually isn't homeopathy, but homeopathy is homeopathy.
So
Wow.
Side note. So there's this town where some family. I'm not even gonna say it, but it's like a rural town, and they have the worst tasting water I have ever tasted in my entire in my entire life. It was so bad that I had to get the taste out of my mouth, and it was disgusting. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like 15% chlorine by volume. Like it was really bad. So
Murder water.
it's like, so I had to get the taste of this disgusting water out of my mouth, and the only thing that these people had to drink was LaCroix. And so I tried LaCroix for the first time, and then that was so bad I went back to the 15% chlorine tap water.
Oh my
Because I
god.
had to get the taste of the LaCroix out of my mouth.
Hello,
Hey.
I'm a LaCroix enjoyer. Okay. So,
Yeah,
so
a
watch
LaCroix.
it, buddy.
A LaCroix boy, maybe?
No,
No?
you can have that one.
I'll take it. I'm okay with
Yeah.
being a LaCroix boy.
Is no one spelling boy like BOIX? Because that seems like an innovation that a lot of people are gonna want to get behind.
Ooh.
Wow.
Bois.
Boy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone out there, I just want to let you know, the closer you get to 40, the more you like LaCroix.
True.
Because all of your taste buds have long rotted away.
Because you can. So here's the thing: you can add liquor to it, and it just tastes great. There you go. End of story. You want to make your vodka better? Put it in a grapefruit. Excuse me, pamplemousse.
There you go.
LaCroix. It just becomes better
What the fuck?
because vodka's awful.
What's a pamplemousse?
It's French.
For what?
Grapefruit.
Okay. Anyway,
We're learning a lot today.
So this guy has taken a bunch of a twisted combination of adrenochrome and LaCroix. That's why he's rapidly aging younger, and it's revealed in a scene that's like, oh yeah, I've been taking it, but but because of all this, you're supposed to take it over like the course of 2 years, and it slowly makes you younger. But I took the whole fucking dose. I didn't just take the whole dose. I took took 2 whole doses, the one I got from my wife too.
It makes you younger, Jerry. I took the whole thing.
Yeah, he just fucking faces this shit. You're supposed to take it over years' time, like a little bit at a time, and he's just like, I am going to put this fully. I'm just gonna boof this shit.
And it works. He says, I'm strong. I'm stronger than you, Picard. It's like this ancient gargoyle is now being ageist against Picard because he's rapidly aging younger. And so he's very like creepily immersed in shadows when he's talking to people. He's just kind of like hiding in like a dimly lit room because we don't see his face. Because we do see his face, oh my god! First he has way less old age makeup on. Now he has no old age makeup on. He looks like the actor that's playing him, which is like a man in his 20s probably. He's got a real baby face going on, and he needed to do it because he needed to be strong for this mission because he knows that something's going on, and that's the mystery. What the fuck is going on? So we figure out, why is this guy suddenly getting stronger? Why can he get out of his wheelchair? And now, what the fuck is going on with these people? So it turns out that he kind of figured this all along, maybe, or he figured it out along the way that's okay. So the story is, this guy negotiated with these people a very long time ago, and in order to like start a war because there was hostages previously, and so they took Federation hostages back then, and the deal was that they wanted weapons, and the official story was that this guy, his name's Jameson, let's call him Jameson. So the official story is that Jameson, the guy who's aging younger, negotiated like a brilliant piece. He gave like a stunning oratory, but in reality he pulled a Reagan and actually was just like agreed to give them weapons. But yeah, his interpretation of the Prime Directive, he's like, okay, I'll give them weapons. I'm also going to give the same weapons to everyone else, and then thinking that there would be like a short war, that, you know, it wouldn't affect the balance of power. But what turns out happened is they decimated the planet in a horribly brutal like 40 years war. So he got the hostages out, but, you know, at what cost? He regrets it, and this guy, it turns out there wasn't a separatist problem. There wasn't like a rebel that took these hostages. The guy took the hostages. Carcass or Carnus? Yeah, Carnus is the other guy's name.
Carn ass.
Lamau fucking god. Oh, he should have said that. That's how he could have gotten the hostages free.
The guy would have fallen over, just getting burned so hard he was like, oh.
I'll release the hostages. I'm sorry.
And then he Captain Kirk's it. He's like, my pianist. Hard.
And so the guy is like, okay, well, I figured out this guy's plan. He's not going to really give up the hostages. Our only hope is to do the away team, because it's to rescue them with the armed away team, and because I'm so fit, I'm gonna lead the away team. So they go down into the tunnels, but I don't really know what the point of this was. They go out into the tunnels, but like he clearly thinks that like the same thing is happening as it was before. Like, what is he, senile? Does he have dementia? Like he's acting kind of dumb for no reason. And of course it's an ambush. They're not keeping the hostages in the place that they did before. There's a team waiting for them. There's kind of a funny line where the people that are ambushing them are shooting phasers, and Data goes, "Those are phasers, sir, set to kill." And Picard's like, "I've heard the sound before, Data." I'm like, really? Okay, interesting.
I know what these sound like.
Specifically,
What do you think? Nobody's tried to kill me before.
It's we'll find out more about that in a later episode. It didn't involve a phaser though. It involves this brutal stabbing.
Yeah.
Spoilers. But so the guy, what does the guy want? The guy that took the hostages, he wants Jameson. He wants the guy that's aging younger rapidly. They want him. He wants to. It turns out that its plan is that he wants to bring him down here and see what he's done to the horrible planet. See the wounds left on these old soldiers and the wounds left onto the planet himself before, like, I guess eventually like killing him in like a kind of Joker style. And then so yeah, they go down. And the guy, he's incredibly sick. He got really sick when people were trying to kill him, and he's like, well, they can't go down. He can't go down. He's so sick. He's dying. And then Jameson, who's like, he's not like a bad guy, I guess. He's like, well, I don't care if he wants my life. We would save 20 people. I've got to go down there. I'm like, okay, well, good on you, Jameson. So he goes down, but the guy doesn't recognize him. He's like, what is this? This is a fraud. You've coached this young boy. Where's Jameson? I want Jameson. And they do like this whole back and forth. And then it turns out, and then they eventually basically convince him by just showing like a picture that's a screenshot from the show, like from the camera of the show, of like the different points that they've actually shown of him just in like different stages of makeup, like 3 different pictures. Like, okay. He's like, my God, this is Jameson. Kind of
my God. Yeah,
it's kind of a dumb one. They need to resolve that somehow, I guess, though.
Yeah, big fan of also this next bit. Huge fan of the guy being like, all right, well, it is you. I guess I'll kill you with the guns you sold us. And like pulls this fucking like SMG shit out and is like about to gun him down. And it's like, no, I'm going to let you live with your pain.
Yeah, because
and then the guy just like Jameson's just like lying in the arms of his wife and Dr. Crusher, and it's just like, your hair pretty, and then dies.
That's a beautiful summation of the remainder of the episode. So it turns out that we found out this earlier, but the treatment that he took too much. It's gonna end up killing him. We knew this already, and so he's kind of just dying in agony. His penis hurts so bad that he's about to die.
And it's just shrinking.
Yeah,
well, that's the thing that happens with the organs, right? Is that his organs are shrinking because they're becoming over young, whatever that means. And
the little medical explanation doesn't make too much sense.
The reason I keep making penis hort jokes is because his penis getting a little too young too. You know, it's shrinky. It's shrinky. It hurt.
So so he's kind of just like suffering in pain, and Picard's like, that is Jameson. He took some fucking weird drug to make himself younger so he can meet you on equal footing, and look what it did to him. And and once he accepts he's Jameson, he pulls out the gun. Die from your own weapon. So, no, I'm just gonna let you die peacefully in the arms of your wife. Like, but I know your penis hurts real bad, so I'm gonna leave you alone.
Yeah.
And then that happens, and it's kind of like, and then the guy sees this final moments between this man that he absolutely hates, for blaming him for ruining his world, even though there's a question of like, how much responsibility did either of them have? Was it more the responsibility of the person that gave them all these weapons, or the responsibility of these people for using on one another in this brutal conquest? And that's not cleanly resolved. Clearly the writers are like, okay, well, both of them have a lot of fault here. This is just like a tragic tale, and then the guy's heart is kind of numbed by seeing these final moments, and he's like, I'm gonna release the hostages, and that right there is kind of a good end. But then they go they need to like cap off the episode. So then the situation is resolved, and then Picard and Riker this really sours the episode. They're talking about, I don't even remember what the fuck it was. They like Picard already had his Picard speech, and now he's like talking to Riker like, perhaps age and wisdom are a good thing, and Riker's like, I hope you don't have to be old to realize that age and wisdom is a good thing. I don't even know what the point was. It's
Yeah.
real
It's like
damper.
we need to cap it off with something. I don't know, write some bullshit that sounds like one of them would say it.
Yeah, and then the the episode ends. Okay, so
Yeah.
As I've said before, I like this episode. I quite like this episode, actually. I found the drama between the two characters compelling. I found the emotional stakes to be interesting. The science fiction concept to be compelling and used in a somewhat meaningful way. It sets up like a double-sided tragedy, like the need for revenge and then the need for like youth and strength like colliding with one another and meshing with these people's internal worlds, and just ending up in a disappointed situation because the guy, he had this whole plan. He was gonna like do a grand tour of like all the horrible things that happened to his planet before presumably like executing this guy, and no, just because he wanted to be strong for the meeting, he's just laying there just like suffering, his penis hoarding real bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of like ends on this just like soft, like somber note of this kind of like sweetness between this man and his wife, and I found it very compelling. I liked it until the end, which kind of ruined it. But ignoring that, I like the drama and the premise of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was all right. I don't know, like maybe just with retrospect, a lot of it just seems kind of meh because I've seen that story a bunch of times.
I thought it was boring as shit.
Yeah.
there was like nothing. It was just like, oh, this dude's mad, or this dude's up. Oh, boo-hoo, you did imperialism for the oh, woe is you, and it's coming to bite you in the ass. Wah. Yeah, okay, cool. Who cares? Shut the fuck up. Die mad, old man. Like, the fuck? Like,
I quite liked it.
And his poor fucking wife was just like, I just wanted some time with him when he couldn't run away from me because he was avoiding me his entire life to go fucking kill like underdeveloped planets. Like, this is what he did.
His whole life was being a diplomat, giving weapons to opposing sides in conflicts, and then having them kill each other.
He's the Federation's. I mean, it's hard to even compare him to like Oliver North or like Reagan or anything, because it's literally just like, okay, well, it's like the centrist version of that, I guess. Like, okay, well, we'll just give all sides of this conflict weapons, like. I mean, I know, and it makes sense that he did it because, like, okay, well, he didn't see a way of getting out of this while keeping the hostages alive, so he gave everyone weapons. That, to me, like that makes sense. Like, not that I think that was a good thing to do, in the fiction of the show, but that makes sense that that's something that someone would do, and then lead to that makes sense that would be like. That would make sense to a person's like moral world, and then the consequences of that also make sense, and I think that's like the core for why I enjoyed the episodes, because like, oh well, this is a term, this is the dramatic thing.
To me, this was just like this was more just like fucking like West Wing in space. That's what this was. This was just more West Wing in space bullshit. Like, that's
it's like, what if West Wing had laser?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, what if America was really just trying to do what was best for everyone? Can you really hold them accountable?
Oh,
I
you
think-
know what? I didn't really consider that. Like, I kept talking about like Oliver North and Reagan, but like this was made in the late '80s. Like that was like a recent historical event that had happened.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think that there's a very interesting story here about like ethics being something that you can kind of twist into whatever shape you need them to be like to do what you want to do, right?
Mhm.
Is like, and that's something that like I wish they went harder on him about at all. Actually, at all about would be good. Being like have Picard give a speech being like, "You really fucked up, man." Would have been good. Hey, would have loved that. But they didn't. They didn't do that because I'm
It's
I'm
West
guessing
Wing in
because
space.
I'm guessing because like it was politically risky to do that at the time, to do like a sci-fi criticism of the president. But who knows? I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Let's dive a little deeper here because I'm listening to the earpiece. I'm getting it. So DC Fontana. So had written the episode for this, but then famously Gene Roddenberry's lawyer was like heavily involved with the show in like a writing producer context, and heavily rewrote the script for this episode. Fontana ends up quitting the show because of that and filed a formal complaint with the Writers Guild of America.
Damn.
And that was when one of the show producers realized that Roddenberry no longer knew what he was doing. So then and which then like pressured Roddenberry to hand off the show to someone else. So let's keep in mind as well, a lot of crazy shit happening on behind the scenes of like every single episode of the show. A lot of drama. Everyone fucking hated each other like constantly. All the actors hated the writers. All the writers hated the actors. All the producers hated everyone, and vice versa. It was a real like fucked up situation. A lot of people, and it's shocking to me that more cast didn't end up leaving the show. Only two end up leaving the show, and the idea that Picard kept up with this as well is kind of blows my mind, because like I don't what did he have? I know he was like a Shakespearean actor, but he had like big film roles before Star Trek, right?
I don't remember.
That's Patrick Stewart.
Patty Stew.
I'm sure that's exactly how he loves it being said. Dude.
I'm sure he loves it.
I don't think he seems like a real silly kind of guy. I don't
Oh,
think
absolutely.
he
But I'm sure, I don't know if he'd hear that and love it. But.
Patty Stew. You want to come on? You're a socialist, Patrick Stewart. Come on, left
Come
track.
on. You're what? You're what? Labor? Or are you SNP? Are you with that?
He was.
That'd be nice.
I know he was a Corbynite.
Pretty cool.
He was a strong Corbynite, and he refers to himself as a socialist. So that's cool. I'm looking at it, and no, it doesn't really seem like he had, unless there's. He was definitely an actor before Star Trek, but it does not seem like he had like a ton of choice roles. I guess Star Trek is the thing that really propelled him into fame afterwards. That's interesting. I don't really know a lot about that, so I'm just talking on my ass, just looking at IMDb filmography as well.
But anyways, Patrick Stewart, if you want to come on the show, we'd love to have you. Just don't ask us about the Picard show that you've been doing at all, please.
Patty Stew.
Pretty please. Patty Stew. I love you. But
Yeah, Patrick Stewart, I love you. But and you know what? I'm not going to blame New Trek on you, even though it definitely seems like a lot of it is your fault. Cause, something I didn't realize is that actors are like are crazy. Actors are crazy people.
They're kind of bananas. Yeah, they're kind of wild. You know, kind of wacky.
They love themselves. They think of themselves as gods. It's and which becomes incredibly apparent because, like, you know what? Tune in to Left Trek episode 0, only available as a $100 a month Patreon goal. Not that you have to pay $100, but that if we make $100 on Patreon, we'll put out episode 0 of Left Trek featuring me, Brian, and Elliot on the first 2 episodes of Picard. You want to see us suffer? Would you like to see me pay for my crimes? Tune in.
Do you like pain?
Does your penis hurt?
Does your penis hurt? Do you want to see our peni hurt?
I'm very upset that the penis horde has become the through line of this episode.
That's fair.
It's even worse that is now the most obvious thing to title this episode, and I know I can't do it, but it's gonna be really difficult for me to think of anything else.
It's gonna be Jameson Penis Hurt. It's PEANUS.
Just use it with just put a lot of euphemisms. Just put a lot of like at symbols. We're gonna trick the YouTube algorithm on this one, folks.
And put a picture of Jameson just going, oh. Who's your guest on this episode? Well, it's Jameson going. My penis hurt.
Oh, that'll be it. Here, I'll. You know what? I'm not gonna remember this, but the thing that I want to do is like take one of the moments of him just going like, oh, and then insert that every time after we say penis hurt. So IMDb trivia confirms that yes, the arms for hostages element of the story was inspired by Iran-Contra. So the question is, were they criticizing Iran-Contra? Were they saying that like they had a point with Iran-Contra?
I mean, my guess is that
they know what they were doing?
What it sounds like is the original writer was criticizing, and then Gene Roddenberry's lawyer came in and said, "Whoa, buddy, we can't do
that." Not old Ronnie.
Yeah.
You know what this episode. I know why I like this episode. This is maybe this is the first episode where Will Wheaton does not appear. He was not in this episode for even a scene. Interestingly enough,
I guess that's why the episode was so boring.
Yeah, we really needed some.
We needed a heel.
We needed Wesley to be the person that figures out what's going on.
Right?
Oh, okay. All right. This just in. This is coming in from our producer. What's our producer's name? Let's make up a fake producer who talks to me. What's their name?
Philbert.
All right. Phil's coming in the air. Let's see. Okay. Okay. In the original script, Jameson doesn't die, but he reverts to the age of 14 and does not remember his wife. He then helps Governor Zepik and his rival, a high priest, in their negotiations. In this story, Jameson was responsible for moving Commander Riker away from the Enterprise D to command his own ship and being promoted to captain. At the end, the 14-year-old Jameson received a tour of the Enterprise D by Wesley Crusher. Okay, so actually, it was a good thing that this script got taken away. that episode would have sucked. It's just way better.
They would have had like an actual fucking diplomatic thing go on. It would have been like, good, like a good use of diplomacy instead of somebody using diplomacy as a way to like kill their enemy.
I
There's
mean,
way more intrigue this way. Very much more. Yum.
Shut up! I liked it. Thanks, Gene Roddenberry's lawyer. You made this episode to me. This is the best episode. This is my favorite episode of season 1. There we go.
Acute listeners of Left Track will know how much, at least myself, loves fucking U.S. Apologia. It's my favorite.
It was. I don't even know. Like, is Gene Roddenberry's lawyer? Was he trying to play up or play down the arms element? Because
I think he was just literally trying to do what better option would there have been?
Yeah.
And is it really our fault? That sort of shit. I don't know. It's just kind of it's, once again, West Wing in space. All you just needed Picard putting on a jacket in a really fashionable way, and then that would have been it.
Yeah, that's true.
That would have been enough.
That's true. Well, final thoughts on this episode. I already talked about what I think about it. I'm more embarrassed that I like it now that I realize it was basically a West Wing episode. That is kind of bringing shame to me at this point. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Once again, that's why I'm here. Okay, I'm here to fucking dispel any sort of fancy patina you might have on this fucking antique of a show. To just be
well, let me be clear. I didn't even remember this episode going in. I did not remember this episode existed, and I had very little idea of what was coming. I noticed the similarities to the Iran-Contra thing. I just didn't realize that it was about Iran-Contra, because Iran-Contra was a poignant political event that just happened, and now the context has kind of oh yeah, okay. It turns out that this was actually lib shit. Oh, so no.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it. Well, it also shares a surface level similarity with a story that I boarded out a really long time ago that I wanted to include as a chapter in a fantasy book I was writing about revenge, destroying the need for revenge destroying two people. And you know what else? I when that was before I was a big time, that I was very young when I made that, and that was about the dangers of political polarization.
Oh no, Eric! Oh no!
I've always been a pretty staunch lefty, and I went back and revisited that. I'm like, is there a way I can salvage this concept? I think it was only interesting for what I thought was the political subtext, but I like revenge stories like that where the pointlessness of revenge ends up destroying two people. But there's I guess there's a through line in that kind of element with lib shit. So great thanks, Left Trek. You ruined my favorite episode of season 1.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sorry. Final thoughts for both of you on this one. What do you got?
Yeah, just glad to see that fucking I can't remember the fucking creator of West Wing's name at the top of my head.
Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, I'm happy that Sorkin was able to get a writing credit on another episode. Good for him.
he loves those writing credits. Absolutely. He loves it. Brian, what do you got?
Stinky. But I did like making the penis horts jokes.
That was the most notable part of this episode.
Absolutely.
Of either of these episodes that we watched.
That's what connects it to a topicality that just doesn't, you just don't get these days. Memes. I'm here to bring the memes. Okay. You may think I'm here to be like a Star Trek fan, that I'm here to offer good analysis, and that's just a lie. Okay, I'm here to make penis horts jokes.
This is a convenient little lie that we're feeding you.
I may not advertise it, but I am I comedy. That's what I do. I comedy.
Yeah,
Listen,
you're
once
like Data
again,
doing
we are nothing more than proxies and assimilation. After just like feeding an AI hours, years,
Yeah.
months of fucking nerd shit and socialist rhetoric.
We're the
Yeah.
average. We are the computer generated
Yeah.
average. Nothing is real.
I'm like, I get out and I'm like, what's the deal with penis horde?
We are nothing more than the collection of our horde penises.
Fuck.
Good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
Sign up for our Patreon.